this is A Grateful Tangle. I want to say thank you to everybody who came by and watched my episode last week, my first episode. I was really, really nervous about it, and I'm still really nervous about it. But I just really appreciate those of you that took the time to like the video, those of you that took the time to comment, that subscribed. It just really means a lot to me. So I just wanted to say a quick thank you for that. I don't have a whole lot to update with as far as knitting goes today. I am still working on the test knit for This.Bird.Knits. I'll put a picture up and a link to their Ravelry and Instagram page down below in the description. I'll put the picture up top, but this is how it's working up. I was hoping that I was going to be onto the sleeves by this week, but we had a lot this weekend. So I didn't get nearly as much knitting done as I wanted to, but I should be starting on the sleeves this weekend and hopefully finishing by mid next week. So if anybody that's new here, welcome. I meant to say that earlier. Anybody that's new here, I discussed the test knit last episode, which would have been a week ago-ish. And my plan is to knit everything the way the designer has intended, and then I plan to unknit the sleeves and make them either short sleeve or no sleeve, sleeveless. Just doing like a 1x1 ribbing on the armhole part, maybe about an inch or so, just so that it looks a bit finished. But I'll see once I get the body put together, and I might even leave the long sleeves and ask for an opinion here or there. So I will, but I won't be doing any of that until after the pattern is released. And I don't know when the pattern is going to be released. I know that our test knit deadline, it's either the 7th or the 9th of May. I cannot remember which one. My plan is to have it done before the 1st of May, regardless, so that I have time to gather my notes and submit all of that. I say gather my notes and submit all of that like I'm writing a dissertation on a very well-written pattern. So that's not what I mean. But regardless, I do want to try and have it finished by the 1st of May, so that I can get all of any information that I have, my yarn weights, etc., to This.Bird.Knits, so that there's, I don't know. I'm making no sense now. Okay, so that is what I'm working on. I haven't worked at all on the Rebel cardigan either, just because, like I say, I didn't really have any knitting time this weekend, and I want to make sure that my time is being spent on my my test knit. I did have a chance. I started a in real life knitting club. We meet at various pubs in my area, and we meet Monday nights for a couple hours. And so I always have a couple hours of knitting time on Monday nights, which is always really nice. I really enjoy that. It's a night that works out really well. I have a teenage daughter who's a junior in high school, and she has debate Monday nights. My husband is off on Mondays, so he has an evening to himself, and my Monday nights are just, I live for it. I live for my knitting and my pint of beer. So, and the company that I keep. It's wonderful. This last week we had, I think, 7 people came, which was really nice. I just started it back in October, so it's fairly new, but I really love it. I highly recommend. I wish that there was a way for me to like set up a video camera and do like a live stream from there and have other people join and knit. That would just be, it would be splendid. But I don't know how to do that, so I am not doing it. But anyway, I wanted to, let's see what I'm wearing. I am wearing Anker's summer shirt, patterned by PetiteKnit. Any patterns that I mention, I will go ahead and link a description below. This is my very first knitted object that I ever made. Let's see. You can kind of see it there. It's not supposed to have arms this short, sleeves this short. But having been brand new to knitting, I had no idea what I was doing when it comes to small circumference knitting. And I tend to be one of those people that when I want to pick something up, I like overly research. I research all day, every day. And so I watched a ton of YouTubes and talked to a bunch of my friends from the internet that are knitters, and I used the long, it's not the long tail, what is it called? The magic loop. So I used the magic loop for these, and it was absolutely tedious. I really struggled with finding joy in knitting when it came to the way I was trying to knit these sleeves. So I gave up. I knit about maybe an inch, and then I did the ribbing, and then I bound off. And I really did not enjoy myself. So a couple of friends of mine said, you know, you should try DPNs. So I did try DPNs, and I loved them. And that is now how I do any sort of small circumference knitting. I do want to try the shorter fixed circulars. I want to say maybe they're 9-inch circulars, but I don't have any of those. I do have a full set of DPNs, so I use those for now. But when I have the budget for it, I will try getting myself some of the short circulars. I guess they don't necessarily have to be fixed circulars. But anyway, if anybody has a good recommendation for those, I would love to know what that is. You are encouraged and welcome to leaving a comment about that, because I don't know, and it's one of those situations where you don't know what you don't know. So I find it kind of difficult to research when it comes to new things like that, just because I don't necessarily know what questions I would even ask. So anyway, if anybody has any suggestions, I would really love to hear what you have to say about those. So that is what I'm wearing. This was made with Lion Brand Comfy Cotton Blend. Turns out it's not my favorite yarn. I love the color. I love this nice, I think the color was mochaccino. I will link to the pattern, and I will also link to my Ravelry page. So it has all of that information in there. It's a DK weight, half cotton, half polyester. I had it on hand. It was one that I had on hand. I had been bought, I don't know, 5 or 6 balls of it because my daughter was learning to crochet, and she started on a blanket. Apparently we start with projects that we have no business starting with. But anyway, so I still had a ton of this yarn, and it worked up just fine. I did notice that it split a bit, but what I'm not super big on is it's not real breathable. I don't enjoy wearing it if it's at all warm, and maybe it's just too dense of a fabric. Maybe I should go back and give that yarn another shot, or maybe I should just decide that I'm only going to make, I don't know, dish towels out of it. So we'll see. I'm sure that someday I'll find a good use for the rest of it. That being said, I wanted to spend time talking today about patterns that I want to put in my next up queue. I am going to finish this test knit, and then I will be working on the Rebel cardigan. And the Rebel cardigan, when I chose that that cardigan by ANKESTRiCK, I'll put a picture of it up here so you can see what I'm talking about. I went into detail last week about just what about the pattern I really liked and why I chose that. Oh, I totally lost my train of thought there. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Rewind. So with that one, I had decided that it was going to be a lengthier project. I'm not itching to get it done. I don't need to wear it to a wedding this summer. I don't have anything specifically that it needs to be finished for. And so that one was going to be my long drawn out knit. I've put a list together. I've been going through my Ravelry favorites. I don't know about you guys, but I have so many, I have like 500 favorites in my Ravelry. What do you do after you've made one that is in your favorites? Do you unfavorite it? Because then it's in your finished projects. Do you, it's driving me a little bit nuts. I have things bundled, like I have a bundle of sweaters that I think I might want to make for my husband someday. I have a bundle of things that I might want to make for my daughter. I have different, bundles for sweaters for me, or tanks for me, or just various different things. And so that's fine. The bulk of it isn't so bad because I'm every now and then I get to where I'm organizing it. But as I was looking through my favorites this week, coming up with my list of next ? I realized that I still have favorited items that I have already made. So should I unfavorite those? What do other people do? Opinions? Is the idea that I have 500 patterns in my favorites absolutely nuts to anybody else? Because it's a bit nuts to me. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, are my favorites. I will also, at the end of the episode, be putting in some clips from my garden. We have a very small garden, but I this year am growing green beans and lots of zucchini. Zucchini is like my family's favorite. My daughter's favorite food is zucchini. So we always grow that. We decided to cut back on some of the veg this year. We didn't plant any tomatoes. We didn't plant any cucumbers. My dad's going to be planting all the cucumbers. And we tend to do, we're gonna all get together and pickle them together this summer once there's a decent harvest for those. And other than that, I really love my herbs and those sorts of things. But toward the end of of today's episode, I'm gonna put in some videos. I've already got green beans on my green bean bushes, so I took a couple short videos with my cell phone the other day, and I just want to share those with you, so I'll throw those in there. And I will also talk about there is a YouTube that we've really loved, so I'll talk a little bit about that too. So before I get started on that, I wanted to show yarn acquisitions. So there's a yarn company, Gritty Knits. They're out of Texas. Stunning knits, absolutely stunning yarns. That's what I meant to say. And I am part of, they have a subscription, a monthly subscription. You pay a fee, and once a month you get one skein. I do the worsted merino, which their worsted merino base is called Merinosaurus, and every month I get a skein of yarn near the middle, usually right around the 20th of the month. And I don't know what the colors are. The dyer tends to have very, very beautiful, highly saturated, very colorful, I mean, just absolutely breathtaking yarns. So I got the April one in the mail last week, and I feel like it's okay to show it because anybody else that gets the subscription will have already received it. If you are a Gritty Knit subscriber and you have not yet received April 2024's color, fast forward this part. And not only does the subscription include the yarn, but it also includes a gift, like a little extra every month. This month it was this adorable, I mean, look at this notebook. It's, I don't know how many pages it is, spiral bound, blank pages, they're not lined. And I just thought that was really, really cute and quite helpful. So I'm going to be keeping this in my little knitting tote so that I can make lists of who knows what. But anyway, so this month's skein of the Merinosaurus, let me get that out of the way, is, I mean, look, they often have oranges and yellows. This month is pretty much teals, purples, pinks. I mean, it's just beautiful. I'm sure that it looks a little bit different on your screen than it does in real life, but I mean, it's just edible. It is so beautiful. I mean, it's not actually edible. Do not eat it. But it's just stunning. So that goes under acquisitions. Last month, maybe it was last month or the month before, the extra was these adorable mini scissors that I have not yet. They have a little dog's face on them. I don't know if you can, I don't know if that's going to focus. Doop, doop, focus. Anyway, so those are really cute. Sometimes they're, one time it was a really nice tin of a nice thick lotion. There's been a ton. So that's my skein of yarn for the month. That's my acquisitions. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is I have set up the recording software that I use. I have set up a, there we go. That's exactly what I wanted. And I will maybe move myself over just a tiny bit. I have set up a screen capture here for there we go. Okay, what I've done is I've set up a screen capture for my Ravelry bundle that I've put together that says next. So I am going to go through that and just kind of show the things that I was kind of thinking might be next. Maybe talk a little bit about yarn that I might use for it. One thing that I didn't mention last week is that my spouse is a yarn dyer. He is the dyer for a company that ships yarn all over the world. And so I am tempted to use some of their yarns for some of these, but we will talk about that. The company, if anybody's interested, is called Anzula. It is a woman-owned company here in the city that I live in, and yeah, so they have great yarns. I'm excited to use them in some of these upcoming projects, but some of these projects I already have yarns in mind for as well. So, and have them in my stash. The first one here is this one, and I'll link to all of these below. And I'll also, I think maybe there's a way for me to link to my bundle. So I might even link to my bundle so that you can go through any of these. And this one here, this Hatdana, which I'm assuming is a mix between a hat and a bandana. This one, I wear a lot of head wraps, especially in the style that you see here, where it's larger in the back and smaller right here in the front. I'm just really comfortable in any sort of head wrap. I don't know. I've always, even when I was young, I've always really, really liked to wear a bandana or a handkerchief or just different types of things, a silk scarf, any of those, around my hair. I love it. I think that they're gorgeous. And this one I thought was just stunning, the way that it can be worn in multiple ways. As you see here, this was designed by Denise Barron. I might be mispronouncing that, and I apologize if that's the case. The framework bralette has been on my favorites for a little while. I was thinking about making this in a, I think it's either Cascade or Pacific Yarns. I'll correct myself. I'll put the words up on the screen. That makes a cotton with a spandex in it that I thought would be nice for this bralette. It looks super, super comfy. There are lots of different sizes shown on the page for it. So I can kind of, and a lot of the projects that are on that project page also show different, like some people have made it a little bit longer, some people have made it a little bit shorter. So that one is one that I am really interested in. I believe that one's in a DK. These slippers, I am such a sucker for slippers. I live in California and I know that it is hot, hot, hot here, but you cannot beat a good pair of a good pair of slippers. And I just think that these are beautiful. These Nordic slippers are, oh, I didn't mention, this is by Jessie May. These ones are I think of an Aran weight. Yeah, Aran weight. I already have this pattern. So Kalia Turner Beckman is the author of those, and I just think that they're really, really lovely. The Agave shirt is one that I absolutely fell in love with, I don't know, a few months ago. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, that is just stunning. There are a lot of patterns by this designer that I really, really love. This one is a worsted weight yarn it calls for a linen yarn. I don't think that Anzula, where my spouse is the dyer, they don't have a worsted weight linen yarn, but they do have a linen blend. I think it's maybe a cotton linen blend that is either a sport or a DK, so I could hold it double. But I'm also kind of considering, I have you can see it behind, no, you can't see it behind me because the internet is in the way. Web browser. So that one, I have a Snuggle Puff in a light gray color, which is it's what I'm making my test knit in right now. It's from Knit Picks. It's a fairly affordable yarn, and I've really, really liked the way the drape has worked up in this one, so much so that I'm considering making the Agave in that same yarn, but in the lighter gray that I have on hand. So this might be a contender. If I do make this one, I will likely not make the sleeves the way they are in this in the pattern. I think I'll probably just make a more plain sleeve, which brings me to there is a YouTuber, a Handknit Letter, whom I absolutely adore. Her episodes they're wonderful. I'll link to her below. If anybody doesn't know about her, please, I think that if you enjoy the vibe here, you'll enjoy the vibe there. And she's got quite a few episodes, so you can binge. And she recently made this and has shown it on her YouTube, and did what I was thinking, and that is just making like a plain sleeve, not doing the lace work on the sleeves. Not because I don't think that the lace work is beautiful. I really do think it's beautiful, but I feel like I am I'm more of a plain sleeve person when it comes to this top. I just really like the idea of the lace work that's on the front and the back of it being the only lace work on the pattern. So that's probably the only real modification that I would make for that one. And then there's also, like, here's another, this is also in the same linen yarn. And I think for this one, I would probably do the sleeves the same way that they're seen in this first picture. There are instructions for a bit longer sleeves in the pattern as well, from what I've read. But I think I would go with the one that's shown here. I just think that's so stunning. So anyway, that is an option. And I feel like I thought I had, oh, here we go. I knew I had some extras. Another headband that I might do. And if I decide to do the headband, one of the headbands, I'll cast that on while also casting on something else. I like to have a headband in the works pretty much at all times because I wear them so often. Today is a rare day that I am not wearing a headband. So I'm sure that I'll do one of either this one or the other one that I had on here as well. Anyway, there's a couple other things on here. There's some tank tops. I thought that this was really, really beautiful. I think it's really, really classy. I really like this one. This is a bulky weight that I think is gorgeous as well. And for that one, I know I'm pretty sure that the yarn that I would use for that is one from Anzula, and I think I would let my husband, I think I'd let him pick the color, and I think I'd let him dye it himself. So, I mean, it would be dyed by him anyway. But so I think that's probably what I would do there. It's funny because just about an hour ago I got a text message from him that had a couple pictures of a couple of skeins of yarn that he was hanking up, and he was like, look at the colors of these, babe, aren't they gorgeous? And so anyway, I know that it would bring him a lot of joy if I said, why don't you pick out a good color for me, and I'll do my next knit in that. So that's kind of fun. But anyway, all of these are on my on my maybe next list. And so we'll have to see if there's any opinions on those. If anybody that is watching this has made those, had any experience with them, I would love to know. I would absolutely love to know what it is that you think about them, what you liked about them, what maybe you didn't like as much, or any changes that you made. I'm always really interested in any sort of alterations that people make to patterns. That fascinates me. So, there, now you can see it. That yarn bowl there, which actually, shout out to my dad who made that yarn bowl. My dad's hobby is throwing pottery. So I have yarn bowls dotted around the house because how many yarn bowls does one person need? But they are very handy for looking cute and holding yarn that I'm currently making something with. So I just love that. And let's see. Oh, garden. So I think that's it for my knitting bit. Those of you that only are here to talk about knitting, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I'm going to talk about my garden, and then I'm going to talk about a YouTube that we are, as a family, really, really enjoying. So my garden, like I mentioned earlier, we have our first green beans on the plant. I'm going to go ahead. I'm gonna throw in the video of that right now, and I'm just gonna kind of talk over it a little bit. But anyway, so you can see we have the green beans coming in. My pesto plant is doing really, really well. I had planted 2 of them in the same giant pot. One of them seems to be doing a lot better than the other, but I think the other one is, it's time to thrive. It's just not today. So it will, we'll check back in a couple weeks, and I'm sure it will be doing just as well as its little pot mate. So there's that. I took a video of our zucchini plants. They're already starting to bud. You can, if you're familiar with squash, planting zucchini, any of that sort of stuff, you can kind of see the little buds in, especially in the one, the first one that I show in this video. So anyway, we're really, really excited about those. Our herbs are doing really well. We have flowers dotted around here and there. Some of those pots that are on, that are in that first video, maybe not in that one, but there are quite a few pots on that porch that, that my dad also made because he loves a project, and we love plants. So anyway, that's all for the garden update. Lastly, we have been watching a YouTube channel. It's called Wild Homestead. It has nothing to do with knitting, but it came up. My husband has such a wonderfully curated YouTube. He's actually the reason that I, even the past year, have gotten a lot better about when I watch a YouTube, I like it. I hit the like button because I have realized that analytically speaking, it's very important. So because he does that, and videos that he interacts with that he really does like, he makes sure to interact with. YouTube just has this plethora of amazing videos that are right up his alley. And they dropped in our lap back, I want to say it was in November, this YouTube channel called Wild Homestead. I'm hoping that it's not Wild Homesteader. I'm sure it's Wild Homestead. And it's this guy from Canada who bought 40 acres in the wilderness in Ontario. It sounds like he's not too far from like a city, but I mean, there's wild animals, and he's just building himself a cabin. He is felling his own trees. He's making a log cabin. I won't spoil it for anybody, but the videos come out once a week, I think maybe on a Friday or Saturday. I want to say that we usually have a new one to watch with dinner on Sunday. Like, that's just tradition now, is that, although this last week we didn't watch it until last night. And so that, we just, all 3 of us enjoy it. He and I really, really enjoy watching this guy learn these things. And it's just wonderful. He's funny. He's kind of quirky. But he's learned a lot during this last 6 months that he's been doing this, and he's made a whole heck of a lot of progress, and it's just really enjoyable. We find ourselves really, really enjoying his updates. So if anybody is interested in something like that, I'm gonna put the link below. And I would love to know if there's anything that you are currently watching, any YouTubes that, I don't know, are just fascinating. I love watching things about how things are made, or the thought process behind any of that sort of stuff. I just find it so enjoyable to watch, and to kind of see how somebody else's mind works, and see somebody else's progress, and even, I don't know, I really, really enjoy it. So if there's anything like that you want to mention, I would be happy to. I will also do a little plug for my Discord. my Discord server. We have since November, we have been doing read-alongs, once a month read-alongs, where we all, anybody can submit book ideas, and we randomly draw 3 of them the month before, and then we vote on those 3, and whichever one wins, we read along. I usually make a rough little outline of dates that we are reading certain chapters, just so that if anybody hasn't read that far, they don't post any, they don't look in that book discussion channel, just so that they avoid spoilers, and so that anybody that reads ahead knows, okay, I'm not going to post anything about these chapters that the rest of the group isn't scheduled to read yet. And it's worked really well. We took a break in April. We took a break this last month, but we are going to be picking another one for May here coming up this weekend. So if that's something you're interested in and you're familiar with Discord, feel free to click that link and join the Discord, and we can kind of, I would be more than happy to show you around. And it seems like there was one other thing I was going to mention, but it has left my brain, so I guess I won't be mentioning it. But anyway, thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate you spending time with me. I appreciate your likes, your subscriptions, any comments. I just am, I'm just thrilled to be here, and I'm thrilled to have you here with me. So thanks so much, and I will see you next week. Bye.